Hi, I'm Natasha, and today I'm showing up for you guys to demystify ego deaths. So in today's video, you will learn about what an ego death is. How do you know if you're going through an ego death yourself? And what can you do about that moving forward in your personal journey? So I'm here to explain this clearly and simply within my own words, speaking from my experience going through this myself and speaking from experience from helping others recognize this and go through this transition for themselves in their personal journeys. So I've been on both sides of this, and I'm here to just make this simple for you guys to understand. I find that this is a topic that a lot of people just don't know about, or they're confused about it, and I don't want to have that for you guys. So if you want to learn all about ego deaths, then please keep watching. All right, you guys, so you're still watching, so clearly you're interested in learning about ego death. So let's move right on into this. But yes, to be simple and clear as possible, in my own words, I would say an ego death is essentially the purging and shedding of an old identity that no longer works or resonates in your life for your highest good. That's the best way I feel like I can explain that. So what that means is this version of you that you identify as, that you feel that you are, this version of you, you come to realize this way of thinking and being, it's no longer working. Life is heavy and stagnant. The only way to come out of this is to become more, or to become myself. You know what I mean? Like it involves a change or a shift within yourself. So that's essentially what an ego death is. So the programming and conditioning that you just accepted as truth, you have to let go of that. You have to unlearn that, detach. The things and people and habits and mindsets that you're familiar with or attached to, they're going to go away, because you're essentially letting go of everything so that you can come into the core of who you are as a soul. So it's not about becoming a different version of yourself. You're just more so shedding to come back to yourself, to claim your strengths and your uniqueness. But it's not an overnight change. It's not quick at all. It's a gradual change. And sometimes when you're going through it, there absolutely can be some resistance in that, because you come to realize, even though I know growing and healing is better for me, I felt more comfortable playing it safe and being small and people please. You know what I mean? Like you start to realize, even though this might be a better change for me, you might become a little scared or hesitant, because you're like, oh, the unknown, this is different. I'm uncomfortable. I'm confronting my fears and my feelings and the memory, so you do have to. So with ego deaths, you're basically connecting with yourself, going deep into yourself to come into the core of who you are, and literally releasing everything that is not. That's basically what an ego death is. So how do you know if you're going through an ego death? Well, for one, when you're going through an ego death yourself, you come to realize, wow, I no longer tolerate the same stuff or people, whether that's food or relationships, habits, it's just because you're changing as a person. And when you're changing as a person, the things that you tolerate, the things you want to associate with, the things that you want to keep pouring your energy and time into, those things are going to change as well. And I find that sometimes when you choose to accept that, that can absolutely come with grieving. because, you're like, you know what? I have to say goodbye, and I understand this is the best, but I'm sad. And when that happens, don't rush those feelings because they're valid, You may have just felt more safe keeping it small. And now you're being called by spirit or within your own soul to, to chase your dreams, or maybe to pursue your divine purpose, whatever that may be. There's different reasons why we are called into these ego deaths. But regardless, if you're an old soul or if you've been through many other ego deaths before, and I'm telling you, I have as well, no matter how many times you go through an ego death, I find personally that there's times where you may not even know you're having one until you're in the heaviness of it. That's how I realized recently with my most recent ego death that that's how I am. That I'll be really, really hard on myself, and I'll be drowning in my emotions, but by choosing to feel my emotions, I was actually transmuting them. So in the process of finally allowing myself to confront my feelings and to sit with myself, I realized, this is what's happening. I'm already doing it. So I find that if you've never been through an ego death before, it might be hard to recognize, but just to be simple about it, you feel that you are changing because you're changing the way you feel about yourself. You're changing the way you see yourself. And sometimes this could be like a new persona. Sometimes this could be you just coming more into like, your extra weird quirkiness. Like it's different for everybody because, some people, they truly choose just to be the characters that they were told to play. But an ego death is the exact opposite of that. So if you are in an ego death, you'll know you're in an ego death because you don't see yourself the same. You don't click with the same people. You don't want the same things. And it's a weird in-between spot because you're like, I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I don't know who I am anymore. But you also are just it. So yeah, those are the feelings and the thoughts that run through your head when you are going through an ego death. So if that sounds familiar, let me know. Tell me in the comments, have you been through an ego death, or are you currently going through one? Do you need advice? Feel free to reach out or comment below. I'll be happy to connect with you. But ego deaths, they're painful because they're like growing pains. So you're literally releasing your old identity to come into who you actually are. So that being said, when you're going through the shift, what can you do about it? What can you do when you go through an ego death? Moving forward. So moving forward, when you're having an ego death, the best advice I could ever give you is to choose the best for yourself every time. Be committed to yourself because you yourself, you're changing. And when you are changing, that also changes the reality around you. Like you would be so surprised because like the way I think about it is that our mind is like the computer and this is like the virtual reality, So if you're changing the computer, that's going to dictate the reality that you're in. So just recognize that, hey, the deeper I am connecting with myself, the more I'm committing to myself, the more it's going to happen for me. But it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get that. I don't want you to think of healing like that. I want you to recognize that an ego death is like you reclaiming your power. You're reclaiming your strengths, your uniqueness, your talents. And when you're being shifted or being guided towards that, you really just need to make sure that you're pouring into yourself and maintaining yourself and doing for yourself. So making sure that feeling good is a priority within your mind, body, and spirit. Your energy is being taken care of. You're doing things that light you up. And I know this probably sounds simple, but this is so important because when you're so, when you're still shifting as a person and as a soul, you really don't know how to think or feel about yourself, or and in that in-between state, don't try to be or do anything. Just give to yourself in every way possible. Eventually, during your ego death shift, you will start to recalibrate and recognize, okay, this is my new vibration. This is who I am. And then once you start to actualize, okay, like, you know, like you're starting to process, this is who I am. I'm becoming familiar with my energy. So you're connecting with yourself, getting familiar with your energy before you learn how to operate in that and then move towards your purpose. So that's the best way I can explain ego death. If you have any other questions regarding ego death, like what an ego death is, how do you recognize it and what can you do about it, comment down below. I'll be happy to explain or reach out anything, but I hope I did my best for you guys to understand. This doesn't have to be complicated, but I think it's important for you guys to recognize what it is. So when you go through the shift yourselves, you understand, hey, nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine, but I am changing and I'm fully ready and prepared for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the mindset I want you guys to have. So I hope this helps, and thank you guys for watching, and blessed be. See you next time.